Welcome to Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Now you might notice this is not the Sonic 2 you typically come to know and love. This is the 8-bit version, a completely different game than the Genesis version that most people associate when they think of Sonic the Hedgehog 2. So, first things first, no spin dashing in this game. Fastest way is actually wall jumping, as you see there. Probably should have jumped for at least some time. First annoying thing you're going to see is the score countdown. I apologize. Rip your ears, I know. The good news is you don't hear too much of this in terms of the longest possible countdown. Hear that in 1, 2, 3... about 3, maybe 4 stages. That's about it. So, moving through pretty quickly. Trying to at least. Spring. I am doing a no reset run to showcase, hey, what can go wrong. So we're actually going to take this a little safe here. Coming right up here is the first Chaos Emerald in the run. Or in the game, I should say. Normally in this run I wouldn't get it. In a marathon setting I will. For the simple fact that it actually gives me a continue. And, well, that could come in handy. This game's pretty easy to die in if you're not careful. Especially on the bosses, although in the Master System version, which is what I'm playing on Wii VC, this first boss is a joke. Now, if you've ever played the Game Gear version, this game is much more difficult in that version. In particular, this first boss. I was supposed to hold left there. No biggie. But in the Master System version, you can pretty much do this with your eyes closed, turned around, blindfolded, whatever. It's a set pattern, it's simple. Whereas in the Game Gear version, you get different patterns of these balls, the timing is different. It's hell. That's the main reset point in that one. But Master System version is pretty. And then that will be all of Underground Zone, the easiest in the game. Which is good, that's your intro. It's kind of nice playing a Sonic where, at the beginning, you're not in a green zone. You get so used to Green Hills, Angel Island, all that. And you will be getting one. That's later in the run. And now we're 1/6 of the way through the game. So yeah, this game's not that bad. It can be a little intimidating, especially you do have dropped inputs. You kind of start to get used to it after a while. And you know when it's coming, you know how to deal with it. Take that a little safe. So coming up is our first view of the hang glider. Now, ideally I would skip it. However, the window to skip it is very, very tight. And make the jump. It does save 5 seconds, but if you miss it, which is what typically happens with me, you lose a lot more than those 5 seconds, because you fall all the way down to the bottom, and your only way out is either to die, or to go left and work your way back up again. So it's easier to do the hang glider. Next stage is probably the quickest in the run, if done properly, Sky High 2. Unfortunately, this is an easy one to mess up. And we're good. At least for the important part. There was another emerald. Pretty easy to get, but I have no need to in this run. Ideally, I would have made it up to that ledge, but that's pretty difficult to do. 16 is still a really good time for this. World record, I believe, is 13. In the world record run, that is. So this game does not have many players. As it stands, I'm the only active one. And there are 3 other runners on the leaderboards. When I actually started playing this game for my 12-hour challenge, there was only one other person, and that's the world record holder, Worster, who has an absolutely amazing run. I don't foresee that ever getting broken. Coming up to Sky High 3, if you're not careful... let's just restart that now. If you're not careful... okay. You can fall down and die. No rings on boss stages. So it's one shot. I tend to play this boss pretty safe. I've already kind of botched it, but... better to take it safely than die. Oh god, leaving that bird alive is not something I meant to do. So it happens. This is probably one of my worst stages, I'd say. But that's all good. I said I was doing no reset run, so we're continuing. Because it can happen. There is quick ways of taking out these birds. Typically, if I try it, I die. Alright, that's what I wanted to do. That's not what I wanted to do. So the trick to this boss is keep him stun locked and then jump into him. When I was learning it, I was actually rolling into his neck, and that typically will get you killed. Look at that pro dodge on that. Yeah, if you just roll into him, you get hit and you die. So jump into him and you're fine. It's much easier. You want to try and keep him stun locked so he doesn't shoot at you. If he does, it might be easier to kill him from behind. Anyway, on to Aqua Lake. So this got a nice little fancy mechanic to it. By the way, I apologize for hearing my washer in the background. So you get to bounce on water when you're rolling in this game. Kinda cool. This is another very quick stage when done right. That was not done right. I'm gonna try and do the backup here. Alright, just got the backup. You can do kind of a swag fall down and land right before that spring. But I'll take it. And coming up next, Aqua Lake 2 is probably one of my favorite stages in the run, especially early game. It's one of the longest ones, so you get to see a lot of the level. It's got decent music, and you get to experience some things like dropped inputs, and also false walls. Not limited to this stage. 7, 8, 9. And perfect, that allows us to skip an invincibility box on the left side. And you might have seen something like this in Sonic Mania. We're gonna use bubbles to go up. Gotta be careful. If you hit a wall, an enemy, an object, like those spikes, you will actually lose your bubble and fall down. The section coming up, I'm notorious for doing that. Now, you can control this bubble if you hold up to make it go up faster. Down to slow it down. And obviously left and right. This hallway is probably my worst part of the level. So many sprites. Oh god. A lot of drop inputs. That actually wasn't too bad. It was a little awkward. Unfortunately, I haven't found a way to reach that spring off of the enemy yet. So we're going to do this and grab... This isn't required, but I do it because it's here. The only instance of speed shoes in this game. Fun fact. Fun fact. Skip over that to skip a couple minutes of the level. The speed shoes there are not only the only speed shoes in the game. In the Game Gear version, that's replaced by a 10-ring box. You actually don't have that. So I found that kind of interesting. Aqua Lake 3, another pain-in-the-butt boss, to be honest. It's actually not that bad when you get used to it. Remember that spring's there. However, if you just cut it too close, you are going to die. So we need to jump on him 6 times, and do just that. Now, okay, got lucky there. It's possible if you don't kind of do just like that, you have to wait a bit longer. Kind of hard to explain in the heat of the moment. Also, you want to be careful after hitting him that you don't get too close to this hitbox. I've done that and died a couple times before. Yeah, that was the walrus done. Now, that's the first half of the game done. You've noticed at this point, or may have noticed, the bosses only take 6 hits to kill. The next 3 bosses all take 8 hits to kill. And there's also a lot of RNG involved in 2 of them. But we'll get into that later. Now, mention the green zone. Here it is, Green Hills. Don't forget the S. Green Hills isn't too bad. If you do this stage properly, this stage is your extra life bar. There's actually 4 of them on the speedrun route. We'll see. 1, 2. Now, I can skip them, however, for the sake of a marathon, that's probably not a wise option. But try and do this properly, so I can get the rest. Nope, I jumped early. No, I did make it. Nice. So, a little slow to do it that way. You can do it super quick, the speedrun route, and still hit them all. But you know, do you really want to risk it? Again, marathon setting. Gotta play it a little safe. Because there is a level select for this game in an emergency, however, I've actually don't have a method of doing it. Green Hills 2, this intro wrecks me. It's very difficult to do it properly. I did not. That's fine. I'll see if I get this. Nope, because I just jumped way early. That's alright. Another extra life up there. This stage has a few more. That, I believe, is the only one on the actual route. This is one of my worst stages of speedrun. Like, I can get through it no problem. But not as quick as it could be. I forgot I'm supposed to jump into those springs there. If you actually jump into these springs in the right way, you can get another emerald. Most of the emeralds in this game are pretty simple to get. Sky High, it's tricky to find the right way, but it's doable while still getting about a 14. This one's pretty simple to route in if you needed to. Aqua Lake. Oh, actually, we'll talk about that later. First off, boy, nice landing on the spring, Sonic. So this is pretty much a maze. If you're doing this blind, you are so screwed. So it's springs, it's spikes. I do this a little conservatively. Can I make it? Can I make it? Nice. So yeah, all around, again, no rings, so if you land on the spikes, you're dead. And coming up to an RNG boss, it's the pig. We'll see if he cooperates, and if I don't die. Nope, he's gonna be mean. So depending on his pattern, you can get either 1 or 2 hits in per cycle. It depends on what he does. When he stops, if he immediately shakes, you can only get 1 hit. If he sits for a moment, you can get 2 hits in if you're quick enough. That wasn't too bad, but not perfect. Yeah, going back to the emeralds, Aqua Lake is way out of the way, actually. If you don't go through that false wall at the end, you'll end up at the emerald, but it's a huge time loss. And the next zone, Gimmick Mountain, is actually out of the way as well. This zone's kind of fun. Fun fact, in a couple versions, there's a spring there at the bottom. That is not in every version of the game. The earlier versions didn't. The reason that exists, I'm taking it easy because I missed the ring at the bottom. The reason that exists is you can actually get soft-locked in this. But more on that in a moment. First of all, takes a second to grab that invincibility, but boy is that useful. And I need to listen to the music for a moment. I'm alright. So that helps. Oh no, this is bad. Ow. I'm gonna just die and redo. Because I want to actually show this off, so that's alright. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. But yeah, there's a really long spike pit at the bottom that you have to go through. Ideally, you're supposed to go all around the level and get in one of those carts and plow through it. We're not going to do that. We're actually going to do it using the invincibility. The problem is, it is a bit of a tight timer, so you need to be pretty quick about it, and I very clearly had messed up on it. And this one's not looking that good either. I will give it a go real quick. Fingers crossed! Ah, almost. That's alright, we've got extra lives, we'll get it. So that's when dropped inputs can really hurt you there. Yeah, going back to the soft lock, I don't know entirely how it works, but it's possible to deload the active part of the wheel. What on earth? The active part of the wheel in the bottom of the screen that allows you to go up. So, as a fix to that, in later versions of the game, that spring was added. It exists in Game Gear, and I know Jump Sonic. Okay, we're gonna take the safe route. Because that was entirely a dropped input. So, that's unfortunate. Hello, game? Please? Don't actually need this, but I like invincibility. this is the intended route. As you can see, it costs about an extra 30 seconds. So if I recognize first try, I'm definitely not going to make it, then I can do that route instead of taking a death. Unfortunately, getting in the minecart and jumping out was the wrong decision to first go through. But Gimmick Mountain, honestly, isn't that bad of a level. I enjoy playing it. Even if things go wrong, you can typically recover, especially like this stage. I am notorious for falling down a pit halfway through. That's unfortunate. So, fun fact, the wall to the left is false. That's where the emerald is. If you ever played this casually and couldn't find it, it is through there. Wheel, take me up, please. Thank you. A lot of bombs in this stage, and I typically hit them all. Now, I'm gonna take... Never mind. This is that pit I always fall down. It's not a huge time loss, but it's still a time loss. I do that almost every playthrough. And then I always forget that's there, and I hit that bomb. These bombs are the death of me. But as you can see, a lot went wrong, and you can still recover. And not do too terrible. So Gimmick Mountain 3 coming up, the boss stage. Gotta get through a spike maze first, and it's really simple. It's not like Green Hills. This one's pretty straightforward. Though there is kind of a little trap about halfway through. So first, let's jump on down. That's the wrong part of the level. This is where I thought I was. I tend to take this kind of safe. Again, this late in the game, you don't really want to take a death. And now we relax. This will probably be a good time for donation reading during a charity marathon. And that's a little bit of a trap if you're not careful. I think you might be able to survive that while ducking, but I've never actually tested it. Coming up on the boss, the boar. This is another boss where I play it safe. You can jump into him to get the hits. I always die doing that. Jump into him while it's charging, I should say. That being said, even though I'm playing this safe, it's still really easy to screw it up and die. In large part because of those falling rocks. As you can see, I mean, I'm still not doing that bad in terms of how quick this is going. Oh, God. That could have been bad. But there's the boar. For some reason, each boss has different timing on when the screen will actually let you scroll to the right. Something I need to work on learning, especially for Game Gear version. The timing on Game Gear version is different. Now, you might have noticed there is an in-game timer in this game. This is what we go by. However, by the way, shout out to Scrambled Egg music. Best in the game. Wow, really? However, for the Game Gear version, for some reason they didn't put a timer on the boss stages. So we actually have to do hybrid timing on that game and time the boss in real time. And by we, I mean me, because I'm the only person crazy enough to run the Game Gear version of this game. If you look on SRC, I'm the only person with a completion of that on there. Albeit it is shown under obsolete, because these do share the same page. Now, this is the first maze part of this run. There's only one path that'll take you to the end. Fun fact, wow. I've never fallen down that before. Oh, hi, there's an extra life. Where's the way out? Oh, that's where I went. Ah, that's bad. However, that's the first time I've ever actually done that. And I don't have a ring. Nice. Yeah, this stage is actually pretty simple. Messing that up, I don't expect to do that again. Go to the left. Yeah, in that first maze, the path is left, left, down, down. If you do left, left, down, right, you will actually end up at an extra life. So if you ever get this far and you're hurting, it's real easy to get right there. There we go. Alright, now, there's a quick way of doing this part here. It's also very dangerous. And because of dropped inputs and lag, I don't go for it. Because it's going to cost you a lot of time if you don't get it. So instead, we're taking it a bit slow. I know y'all hate that. Alright, last maze portion. Down, right, down, left. Any other option in that maze will take you back to a couple screens back. Now, coming up, Scrambled Egg 2 is probably the hardest one in the run. It's another one, I hate to say it, I have to play this a little more casually. The actual speed run of this, the world record run by Worcester, does a couple skips that you're not intended to do. Using those bombs to actually bounce you into those pipes below is one of them. During a run, this is probably the one time I would be silent. Hopefully a commentator will be able to commentate. Nice, nice. Okay, that's actually good. Skipping hard level there. A lot of times I'll pause both of those platforms. But yeah, you're also not meant to be able to fit in those holes where the platforms go. Worcester found a way to do it. So fun fact, you have to do a loop through that, or else this platform is not in position. My first time playing, I always wondered why they did that in the videos. That is why. And that's Scrambled Egg 2. So, still got 1 minute, and that was doing that more casually. But it gets me through. So we're almost done. One more stage. Scrambled Egg 3. The finale. Now this one actually isn't too bad. Gotta get through another maze at first, but it's pretty straightforward. I don't think I've ever died in a maze on here. I'm going to take it easy here. Usually I try and land on this top platform. It always takes me a couple attempts. Now, coming up on the final boss, more RNG. Pretty simple boss, though. And if you've ever played Sonic Mania, you might wonder, you might recognize this. It is Silver Sonic. And this boss is pretty lenient. If you bounce into him like that, you can bounce him around. Ooh, okay. I'm actually playing this pretty badly at this point. I'm just trying to not die. And fun fact, if you've collected all the emeralds at this point, Silver Sonic will drop the last one. And you can continue to Crystal Egg. However, that is time for this run. Now, I don't know what my RTA PB is. 22 minutes, as you can see, included a couple deaths. Or was it a couple? Included at least one death and a couple bad levels. What I'm predicting is my submission estimate is 25 minutes. That way it allows for fails. And, you know, I know this isn't the best speedrun. I don't expect to ever get world record in this. But it's nice to show this game off. This game is so underrated, nobody plays it. And it would be nice to be able to actually show off a speedrun of it and maybe get some more people interested. And that concludes the Any Percent Sonic the Hedgehog 2 Master System category. I do hope you enjoyed.